this is the most exciting thing, because in that little box next to me, can you guess, we have Rae Morris, internationally renowned makeup artist.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really, really well. So I'm so excited to see you, Rae, because you are my favorite makeup artist in the entire world. You know that. I can eulogize endlessly about you, because I think you have a knack of translating for the real woman in the street to understand makeup application. And I've learned the amount of times on my live, Rae, that I say, I learned this from Rae. I learned this from Rae. I learned this from Rae.
So likewise, I'm wearing white because of you. I never wear white, but I learnt this from Trinny. So hey,
darling, I know. So one day we're also going to get you in something called colour. We have got a launch going on to London today, which is a third category in Cheekbones, and we've both got it with us, and it's called Serena. And we have Kate, that we've always had. Serena's come in today, and Sophia. Now, it's something, Rae, that I was so bloody scared of. You know, the concept of contour was like, you know, I was a girl who grew up in the 80s learning to do makeup, and it was all very hard, that makeup. And then I see Lila now with, you know, at least a few years ago, with all the real full-on makeup as a mask kind of influencers who were non-binary or fabulous drag queens, you know, but that real makeup, like it's a beautiful piece of artistry, but not real life to me. So it's like, I think it would be wonderful that today is about, like, do you need to, you know, shape your face? What are the little tips you can give us? How do we start? You know, should we all do it? Is it a daily thing, or is it special occasion? You know, just everything. Okay, everything. All right.
Okay. So first of all, when contouring, I like the word to define. And the thing is, I think it should be like that understated thing. You never want it to look like it's an obvious thing. And it suits most faces, and it's the way you do it. So what I'd love to do today is break it down and make it really, really simple. Show the traditional foolproof way to contour, and then from we can tweak it. Like if you want to make your face look slimmer, or you want to do a stronger contour, but it's how do you blend it? Where do you start? And look, the first thing I think, contouring, I don't always put it on a natural skin. And just one thing you mentioned before that was really interesting about when you see that really draggy, heavy contouring, the reason you see that so much is the more people pile on foundation, that really thick foundation, you actually remove a lot of your facial features. That's why they have to carve the shape back in. So when you soften your foundation and make your skin look soft, your contouring can also be brought down, and you'll get exactly the same beautiful defined result. You don't have to go that hard to get that beautiful sculpted cheek. Absolutely not.
Okay, so we want to start with like a natural way. So I'm going to do, Rae, BFF and de-stress and some under eye, because I literally just got up.
Well, it's 8 o'clock here. And my eyes are so red. It was 41 degrees here today. And I was out.
God.
41 with wind. Every time I blink, I'm like, ow, ow.
41 degrees is actually Celsius, you're saying, as well.
Yes, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, because when
we are Celsius like 2.
Wow. But I think I need to live in the UK though, because with my skin in the sun, like it's just like it's really, really tricky.
Well, you know, BFF for me, okay, a lot of people talk about, well, I don't go outside, why wear it? Or I'll go outside, but it's winter. And BFF's got SPF 30 in. But Rae, you know, I mean, Australians all know the importance of SPF, but in England still, and there are other parts of the world, to me, if you go outside, there's UVA and UVB rays, and UVA rays are going to be sun rays, but UVB rays are just, it's light outside. You will be not damaging your skin. And I think that knowledge of, you know, that I only learned in the last maybe 10 years, that just outside, even in winter, SPF 30. But you've done it all your life, Rae. I mean, I've never seen the sun hit.
No, I mean, I have a
part of your body.
Just is like, you need to sort out that vitamin D. But the thing is, I don't even have a choice. I burn. And also too though, what people forget, well, I forget. If you're in a country like yours where it snows and it's all white on the ground, you're getting crazy reflection.
So true. Yeah.
It's like it's like here with the ocean reflects light, so does the snow. So should we start? Should I give you my little?
We're going to start. I'm going to put on de-stress so I get a clear base. I mean, my skin's fine at the moment because I have, you know, been looking after it because I got nothing else but to do. But de-stress for me is I've had a very hardly any sleep, Rae, and I know by halfway through the day that stress is going to come out. So I'm just putting this on.
Great.
All the stress and give
before, so I just thought I did cheat a little bit. So in case you think I'm being lazy, I did put it on before.
All right. Have you done under eye yet?
I did that before. I did it earlier. Actually, I might put some more on because now I've got glasses on. I feel like I can put some more on.
I know, Rae, that you've still got the old one, but just for those people watching, especially,
I need the new. I've got the
new one because look, Rae, it's got a Zamac tip, so it's lovely and cooling.
Oh my goodness!
Like that, and you put it on.
So nice,
so nice, and vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, 2 peptides, just no creasy, like that. So I'm just doing
applicators too, by the way, because they're good for an artist. Because for us, we can use it straight on, but we can also put a drop and then apply it with brush or fingers. So it's really good.
And then I'm just tapping it in. So my base is done. Are there any comments? Can you see the comments too, Rae?
Is this amazing?
Yeah. So if you want to read out some comments, because you've got your glasses on and I haven't, and I'm doing my under eye.
I'll read all the ones that say, "Love you, Rae Morris. You're a legend, Rae Morris." You want to read all
it's good to read them just to know how much you're loved.
So there's someone asking, do you have the cream that's good in the snow? Well, I would use that one. I would use the BFF cream. Anything with sunscreen in it. That's a good one about the snow. So why don't I do this? Why don't I just take you through the slide, see how I do it, and then that hollow cheeks to faces that are quite full, because there's also, interesting enough, there is faces that I just don't contour, but I still contour other areas, but not where you think. So just let me take you through.
Okay, so Rae, I'm just going to describe it. Kate is the lightest shade, and that's for kind of cool toned women, like blondes with blue eyes, maybe pink toned skin.
Yes.
Then Serena is my tone skin. It could be for a pale olive, it could be peaches and tan, peaches and cream, it could be rosy olive. I'm actually rosy olive. It will go down to a dark tan probably, or a dark olive. And then we've got Sophia, and that goes from a sort of caramel to a deepest ebony, just to show the color. Okay, great. Let's start. I'm going to use Serena.
Yeah, I'm going to use it too, because the way it blends. What I love, first of all, I only use cream contour products. I'm just going to put that out there right now. I don't use powders, because you're creating shadow onto the skin. I kind of call it like that. The Nancy Gantz pants. I'm not sure what you call it over there. You know, those things that you don't want everyone to know your tricks. And I think contouring is power tools that when you do it beautifully, it can really change the shape of your face if you want it to. So here it is. If you're doing this on yourself, you look into the mirror, and a really simple thing you ask yourself, do you want to create more cheekbones? It's taking your little fingers and creating a dent, and then going, do I want to create more cheekbone? And most people do. So we'll just start there to begin with. Now, there's actually a line that you need to follow on your face.
Okay.
If you get this correctly, it works for everybody. If you don't get the angle right, it can make your face droopier, make your cheeks look more fat. So it's really important. And the rule applies for all faces. So all you need to imagine is a line from the corner of your mouth to the top of your ear. When I was learning makeup, I used to get a ruler or something. When I teach students, I'd put a ruler. This is exactly what I would do to make sure this is correct. And these are the same lines a cosmetic surgeon or plastic surgeon will use for threading, for cheekbone implants. So it's a line that works on everybody. Okay, so just imagine that line. So contouring is a little triangle we create that's sort of like, I would say, 1 centimeter to 1 centimeter wide at the top, and it blends to absolutely nothing. So if that's your line, you turn side on. Imagine a triangle. Now, I've got a little image, actually. I'm going to show you a picture of it to help you as well. Sorry.
This is, can I say, isn't this helpful? I've never learned this properly, everybody.
Pictures are sometimes really helpful. So if you see this bottom, bottom triangle here.
Yeah.
See how it's wider and then it goes to a perfect point.
Yep.
The point is the magic.
Okay.
The point is all about getting whatever you do to a point. The reason why that's important is a shadow on a cheekbone goes to nothing. If you do a thick, wide contour, you get holes right here. So you've actually lost the cheekbone. So let me take it.
Yeah.
So it's basically wide to nothing. Now, I have a brush that does it. You don't have to use this.
Okay.
But all I want you to think about, when you're contouring, you don't want it to be wider. If you got your little finger and indented it, that's the cheekbone you want to create. You don't want to do that to your face.
Okay.
You kind of slice in there. So contour a triangle, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So when I use your product, this is a cheekbone brush. This is
the finger you do with the cheekbone brush. Rae Morris, by the way, has the most beautiful big brushes, every brush, but because I have the tea kit, I have to talk about her bigger brushes. But they are the best brushes I have used in the world. And I have brushes here still, Rae, that I've had that you gave me 15 years ago without one hair that's come out. Hair. Rae went to Japan, she researched, you're now doing the artificial hair, but I've got to say, they're incredible. Really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And this one I'm most proud of because I did work with 2 leading plastic surgeons, and when we did this, I made this brush so even if you had your eyes closed and used your opposite hand and did it, you get exactly the same shape and line that a cosmetic doctor would use to contour.
Okay.
So, but you don't know. If I can show you the shape. Now, so you can use your finger. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the product right up here. You've got to start really high. Because if you don't, if you put your hair in a tight ponytail, you'll have a hole, you'll miss a bit. So you come right up here, and I'm going to do 2 or 3 strokes. And what I'm going to do, it doesn't matter if the hair comes forward. I might do it with the white brush so you can see. And I'll go heavier. For this is another brush I use for cheeks, just so I can go heavier so you can see what I'm doing.
I'm going down towards this line of my mouth, aren't I, Rae?
Sorry?
I'm going down in the direction of the line of my mouth.
Really important. You always want to stop contouring. You don't take it all the way. So when you contour a face, don't pull it to where you want it to stop. It's really important to contour. Pull it back. I say either use a clean finger or a clean brush.
Yeah.
And extend it through.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I'm just going to use a clean finger from here just to get to that thinner point.
Yeah. Look, fingers are a little bit hard when you get to the tip, but I'll show you a trick.
Okay.
It's like this. So what I do with a cheekbone brush, the color, I'll just show you what goes there. And the reason I only put it there, so when I start, the back bristles with 2 or 3 strokes will blend that into a fine point. And
Right,
what you
do as well, because I'm always torn of finding the hollow of my cheek or going slightly on the up.
I always say, forget where your cheek is, create the thigh shape on your face.
But because I'm worried about what, because I could either go on my cheekbone or just underneath.
Under. Because you want to, because you don't want to cut your cheek in half.
Okay.
You want to give it the shadow underneath. So you're going underneath, triangle. Let me go darker so you can see what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important. Fingers are good, but what I would do, Trinny, because you've got to get that sharp point, I'd go finger to like there. Then you might need a smaller brush just to pull it down to that sharp point, okay? Now what this will do, I don't know if you can see it on me. I'll do it on the other side as well. Actually, this side might be easy for everyone to see. So I'm going to come in here. So this is a brush number 23 if I want to really sculpt. Look how good this color is. And what you want to create here, this is not so much a bronzing color, it's a shadow. And I always say this when I'm teaching. Imagine, that's quite a strong line, but it's for educational purposes. Imagine if you got a torch and stuck it over your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know that thing you did when you were a kid to scare your friends, and you get these shadows. That's why the color that you've made is perfect, because you don't want it too orangey red. You want it to look more like a shadow.
Yeah, these are very carefully curated, our colors, to really
to look like
you really feel it's a shadow. Yeah.
So you can see, look, on my face, I wouldn't really contour it here because I'm quite thin in the face, but there's other areas I will. But I'm going to explain why. So you can see with me already, I've already got a contour happening. This is just a simple thing you have, and where women get asked, the biggest question I guess, where do you stop it? Like how far do you bring it around? Really important. So when you contour a face, it's a bit of personal taste. And most when you're doing it, I always say when you're trying this for the first time, do it darker and have a look and go, does that work? Because you will see it, but you don't never want it to be that obvious. Now, this is where that's beautiful. Now, all I want you to do, I'm getting quite tricky. So you go into a point to nothing, and then
that's what I want to understand. That point to nothing. Yeah.
Now, all I want to do now is I'm just going to fan this part up. So I have
that like this.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So you're creating a V.
So I'm taking the sort of like palm of my hand and I'm just
Now let's say you want to make the contour stronger. When you want to contour it stronger, everything's got to go light to dark, light to dark. So when you want, that's beautiful. When you want to go darker, all you do, Trinny, get your fingers same color, you can build it, but just put it back. Don't pull it all the way down. So you just darken it from the base.
All right, so darken
the whole thing.
Yeah.
And let's say you want to go more dramatic, but you want to make it look so incredibly chic and undetectable. You could pick up a darker shade and just pop it right in here. But it's all about light to dark. If you make a mistake, say you've done it and you've made if you use like a big brush or say your thumb and you go like that, what you can create is two big holes here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why contouring magic is when this goes into a V. Here's another great trick to get the V. Take the foundation that you love. I always say have it on standby. So say for me, I use this. I have a clean brush.
Yeah, I love it that you do this. I'm going to do this with, for me, I'm going to do this with just a touch.
Great.
There. Okay. Yeah.
And then just think, this is just, when you're good at makeup and you really want to make this look perfect, and the more you do it, you'll find this easier. Just, like the letter V, I'm using a clean brush like an eraser just to sharpen that point.
So if I put my finger, I'm doing it underneath where I might have caught too much.
Just do like a little V, just like that. You like using your foundation as an eraser. It's just to stop if you've made this look too thick. Because if you make it too thick, you'll make it hollow. Now, while we're doing that, that's just a traditional contour.
I love that trick, Rae, because I just feel, so I think that a mistake when you're in the mirror and you're doing contours, you do it, and maybe you sometimes don't realize how far down you've gone. And this reminds me, we always, when we do contour, we don't always look totally side on and check this.
Yeah, but we should.
Yeah.
We should. I always say to everyone, we have a front face and a side face. So you take a photo here and you take a photo there, because it's really important. And look, if you get a bit of product in the hair, like if you're blonde, it's a makeup artist problem that we have all the time. Just get some micellar water on a tissue and it takes it out perfectly. It doesn't make the hair greasy. So hair up tight. So remember, a triangle to nothing. If you've taken it if you're in doubt, pull it back. So if you're not sure how far to go, if you're in doubt, it's safer to pull it back here than go too low. Now, if you've got a full face and you do this contouring, what can happen is you can actually make your cheeks look more overweight because you're cutting the face in half.
Okay, so how, if you have a lovely, chubby, cheeky face, how do you give that contour?
Great. So what we do is we come in and we do, again, we always go back to plan A, in triangle to nothing, and then we fan this product up and around. And what that does, fanning it up and around, it not only gives you a cheekbone, it actually pulls the face in and makes it more slimmer. And I always but do it, if you can really see it with product, you've used too much. The thing with contouring, the magic is in the subtlety, trust me. And great thing about contouring, it's got to move with light. So what I mean by that, if you're in really bright sunlight, you shouldn't see a lot of shadow. But when you go into a deeper light, contouring will go 2 to 3 shades darker. So a really simple thing with contouring, do it more subtle than you think, because light will do the rest for you. When you're in bright light, you won't see it. When you go in deeper light, anything will go deeper. So it actually works beautifully for you. It's a great thing. It's a great trick, contouring. So yeah, shading that up. Now we'll shade other faces.
Can somebody at Trinny London who's listening to this, because I love that tip of, I think it's very, for you and I, Rae, we both have quite long faces. So for me, it's just about having a cheekbone. But also, we look at all those films of people narrowing their nose. And I always see on Instagram, this is how I narrow my nose. And they put on so much product. And then I think, well, I don't see any difference. I just see a lot of product on your nose.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Where else, Rae, we can put it?
Yeah, well, the thing is too, that I do see a lot of those girls or boys who do that technique. And in real life, what I find, it's so obviously done. And I think that for me, I have this in my head. If I see a trick really obviously done, for me, it works in reverse. It's like if you put on 10 inches of foundation, I instantly think, oh, what are you hiding? It's like when you over contour, it's like you're showing that you don't have any cheekbone at all. So you're really trying to draw it in. Where if you make it subtle, there's magic's in the middle. And I want to tell you another great tip too, Trinny, and I'm quite hollow here, and I need to get teeth sorted.
And there was a few ladies saying they felt very hollow here.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I am that person. So
Okay.
here we go. This is so I'm going to move this into longer faces, thinner faces, hollow faces.
Right.
If you do that traditional angle, corner of the lip, top of the ear, it's great. The problem that you have is if you contour, you're actually angling all the attention to this part of your face. It's a new trick I learned a little bit more recently. So two things. One, when you contour, you want to create a cheekbone, but you want to lift your cheeks forward. So you're going to tweak this little technique, and all you're going to do, it's a really good one. I'm trying to find a piece of paper. So remember that line I told everyone before? Yep. All you're going to do is slightly tilt it, ever so slightly. So when
you told me about the J line.
The J line.
You told me, because you said to me a J once, and I never forgot that same J, like an inverted J.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to lift it up then at the end, but still thin.
So it's still thin, because I tell you what the thinness is. Thinness is because you want to create this. Let me try and find. This will make sense. I'll use a pen.
How much do you want to go up, Rae? Are you going up like that much?
Don't go too up. You don't want to. Okay, stop. Because you don't want to cut through this magic. You don't want to cut through this magic, okay? You've got the magic there. You just want to support and blend up. Everyone just needs to have a pen on standby when they do it and go, right. See, that's what you want to create with cheeks. You want to create this indent, but when our face is longer, you just want to tilt it. Sorry if I can show you. You don't want to have that big drag. You just want to lift everything forward. So, but you want to shorten it. So it's really important if you're long and hollow, because if you start doing that, you're going to go and you're going to make your face thin. So you want to just tilt it, bring it forward, and just brush it up really beautifully. If you are really thin in this area, like someone like me, I wouldn't contour under here because I can look too thin in the face. But then I use contouring this area here. But the eyes.
Yes, can you show us that? I think a lot of women feel that maybe their neckline's going. And what can you actually do with the contour to help that?
Yeah. And this is an area that I find quite challenging, hence why you told me about wearing white, it does help. And it's something that as we age, I mean, I remember a plastic surgeon said something really simple to me. It's called the triangle. When we're young, most of us have a triangle that sits like this. When we get older, it reverses. So we do get quite jelly. So contouring here is, again, subtle, but it's a really simple trick. And what I teach anyone, when you turn your head on the side, to keep a more youthful jaw, or if you want a more lifted jaw, from the point from the chin to the bone, to your jawbone, should be as straight as possible. So with me, you can see I've got that going on.
Yeah, a lot of people do talk about, having the little,
it's so simple. Get a nice brush with a point. I wouldn't use my fingers too much because you will move your skin here. So this is where it's really important with jawlines. And if anyone out there watching gets their makeup done by a pro, do us a favor. Don't move and try and help us, because it doesn't help us. You've got to keep really still. So all you have to do is keep your face really, really still. And then I'm just going to get a brush and I'll turn side on. And all I'm doing is just running it. I would actually do this straight on, okay? So I'm just turning side on so you can see what I can do. And all you want to do with a brush, or I actually use more of a square shading brush, is all you want to do is run it back and forth, and whatever hits the brush is all that needs to be shaded.
So are you underneath? Are you on the actual jawline between underneath and your jawline?
What you want to do, if you've got a jowl, you actually want to hit it right on the jawline.
Yeah.
If you want more definition, you want to go slightly under. See, under will make it look stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is great. I love doing that on me. So if you go behind and under, you'll definitely get stronger jaw. But if you want to define it, you just kind of want to go slightly under, but then just hit anything that's got that little bit of jowlness, just hit it. And then
that's so good. I mean, my jaw is bad.
Look at the color though. The color, I can't even tell. See how I can't see red, bronzy, shimmery. You don't use bronzers to contour. That's so good.
People, Rae, have asked this. So some people have asked, because just for anyone who's joining us, we've just launched our fantastic new contour, which is Cheekbones, but it's in Serena. It's in between Kate and Sophia. But I just want to say, quite a few people have Sawala or Gensta. They have our Golden Glow. How do you combine bronzer with contour? And also, how do you combine blusher with contour?
Oh my God, I love this.
Do those two, because I think that's really helpful. So should we start with how you combine bronzer with contour? Because a lot of people use bronzer to contour, but I think the reason we made these shades is, you know, having a tan is different from creating natural shadow.
Absolutely. And finding your natural shadow, we all have so many different skin tones, and what's so good about these colors, they do cover so many skins. You look, and the world of bronzer's a really open, broad question, because there's bronzer with shimmer, glitter, there's grey, there's bronzer. It's finding that right shade. So you can shade with bronzer if your skin is exceptionally golden, because a real golden, like your Sawala, I on really bronze skin, because it's kind of in the same tone. So you can do that. Sometimes if I've got skin like a mid shade or that perfect Serena contour and they've spray tan and I'm going to warm it up, I will sometimes mix a bit of the bronze, but it's still always going to look more like a shadow. This is what I love with cheeks. And I know I've said this to you many times before, because with blush, when you put blush on here, sometimes when you're not a teenager, your cheeks are not here, they're here. So when you smile and you put blush on and you relax, your blush ends here. So my favorite trick to lift the face, and I believe cheeks wherever your cheeks sit on your face, to me is a sign of how youthful, how supported your skin is.
And how happy you are. Because, you know, what I've done during lockdown is, you know, sometimes we've been a little bit more on our own. And so we don't have an opportunity to talk as much and actually just exercise our mouth. And also we might in the pose be a bit, you know, when you chat, you're like that and somebody makes you laugh. So I'll make a conscious effort during the day that I will just sit in front of the mirror and go, on myself. But just because that is exercising my cheekbone to stay lifted. It's the most subtle form apart from my mad AEIOU exercises or toning routines. But I think it's important, because if we don't, and like if I want to use blusher and contour, all right, because I've got different ones I use, and there's like, I'm going to show you now. So you tell me what you think. But sometimes I use Chloe. So if I take two different ones, I use a blusher which is browner versus if I use a blusher which is sort of, this is VB lip to cheek. But I always felt, and you tell me if I'm right, that when I do Chloe, which is, you know, on my lip, it's got a depth of tone. You know, Chloe, it's that browner shade.
I use electronics. I'm so proud.
Then I make my in a way, I sort of make my blusher meet my contour. You know, I sort of do it. The one time that I do it like that, so it becomes one whoosh. It's sort of changing colour and then getting like that. Whereas if I'm using VB, which is more like your Electra, I tend to just do my little, what I like to use, that sort of bit on the cheek, the plumpest part, and slightly more here. But tell me if I'm doing that right, though.
So really simple. What I love about that contouring technique, or let's say you don't want to contour at all, but you go, where do I put my blush? What I love about contouring, think of this. I say this to anyone when I'm teaching makeup. When you're sitting in front of the mirror and you've got these, let's imagine, pretend we're all Kate Moss for a moment. We've got that crazy,
in our dreams,
or we've got that crazy natural cheek, natural contour cheek.
Yeah.
You'd never put blush below that line. You would only ever put blush above that line.
Yeah.
So it's a really simple thing. That line I keep talking about, corner mouth, top of the ear, put blush above that always, because you want your cheek to always sit above your cheekbone, never below. Because even though we think, I mean, my mum taught me that, do really big rosy cheeks. Yeah, but if your cheeks are sitting big, one thing, it can make your face look too full. So a big blush area can also mean a fatter cheek. It can just mean that. So if you want your cheeks to look smaller, make them smaller. And also just remember, always above that line, because our cheeks aren't always in the place that they were when we were teenagers. So I always say, contour here, blush above. And what you said before is perfect. Marry them together. That's why creams, if anyone's watching this and has powdered blushes and powdered contour, trust me, when you use a cream, you're going to find it really hard to go back, because I find things like contouring, skin, bronzing, and bronzing is a blush because you don't tan here. You tan.
Yeah,
I have bronzer up in here. And this is another place to contour as well, by the way. So you
can we talk about contouring on the forehead? And before that, I've got a lot of European. Sorry, it's getting a bit scraggly.
A bit blurry, yeah.
I'm just going to say to you guys, in Europe and in Ireland, and it's so frustrating because we had to stop European shipping because of Brexit. But I hope by this Friday you can order. Okay, so this is more you. My team will be very angry at me for saying this, but there's so many people commenting because we launched the BFFI and we're launching Louise, Rae, can you turn your volume down when I talk?
How's that?
Okay, hello? That's so much better. But when you talk, I'll turn my volume down.
Okay. Now, I'm going to turn mine right down for a second.
Turn off your mic. Put yourself on mute. Or turn your volume down. Yeah, so turn your volume down. So there, now we can hear. All right, so just to repeat, I'm really praying, we're doing everything we can, that by this Friday, you'll be able to buy from Europe. So it's not a total promise yet, but it's an aspiration. We're trying to make it happen. And today we're launching Cheekbones in Serena, a new mid shade. I'm with the delightful Rae Morris, and we're going to spend the next few minutes also now. We talked about contouring, all the different shapes. So if you've just joined now, and we talked about all different face shapes, and Rae, international renowned makeup artist, my favorite makeup artist in the entire world. We talked about contouring to give you a wonderful jawline, but don't wear a high white collared shirt, obviously. This is for a round neck moment. And we're now, Rae, going to chat about, because this is the other thing, Rae, and you and I talk to a lot of plastic surgeons, and there's always plastic surgeons always talk about the perfect proportion of face, like the kind of a third. Now the joy of makeup, and even subtly, is how you can slightly just tweak the appearance of how those thirds are. So I've always felt, on times that my forehead sort of dominates my face because, cheeks slightly dominate, but my forehead does, my lips do, but my eyes are tiny in comparison. So many people might have a tiny forehead, and other people might feel they have a big forehead. So what I'd love to do, Rae, is we could start with people who feel they have a very big forehead, how they can make it look more in proportion. And then maybe you could go on to, if you have a little forehead, what can you do to make your forehead sort of appear bigger? I'm now going to put my sound down whilst you talk.
Okay. All right. And okay, so here I am. Okay, so what I really love is that you can choose the one thing that you want to learn, one thing that you want to emphasize. It can be I never like sort of saying the perfect face or what is the right thing. It's what makes you feel amazing, and knowing how to do it correctly is always the trick. So for example, with foreheads, if you find your foreheads too high, you want to create a beautiful circle that goes deep to nothing. So you can have short forehead, big forehead, wide forehead, but just a great trick anyway. If you just naturally make your forehead more rounded, you actually do look more youthful. And the reason for that is as we get older, our foreheads just flatten and our hairlines go back. So what I love to do, I'm going to show you how I use it, Serena, on a thinner brush. This is brush number 23. And I like to think of it like a moon shape. So I'm coming into the temple there. It's really good for receding hairlines. And you're just going to do it like a rainbow effect. And you want to go nice and high and right into the hairline. I did say earlier, if you just joined me, when you've got blonde hair, this can be a bit tricky, but a bit of micellar water on a tissue gets it out really easily. But just remember when you do this, it's got to be rounded. Be really careful. And here's a great tip for contouring. If you have a contouring brush that you love, I always say buy two. And the magic with makeup is having one with no product on it. It will change your life because you use it as an eraser. So even if you think you've blended it, pick up the same one or a similar one with no product, it will just blend it in.
Rae, when you talk about rainbow, am I just putting it in a rainbow? Am I making it thicker here and thinner here? And also I really want to understand about the receding hairline because I have that and I'm avoiding it.
Hang on, I can't, sorry. Okay, so what you want to do, you want to work out how you want to change the shape. So most times with a high forehead, you don't want to sort of shade it like this way because you get a square forehead. You want to like keep it round but move the shape in. So think of it, you want to make it to a smaller moon shape. So how you do that is anything behind that moon shape, you want to start right at the hairline is the darkest point and then shade it down to nothing. And it's really important when you look down that your darkest point has to be right up in here. So a really nice tip is if you're worried about getting it into there, again, can I tell you why creams are so important to do this? If you're doing this with a powdered product, it flicks into your hair. It drives me crazy. So I like to go right into the hairline. I'll go even stronger on me. So this will bring your whole forehead down. So think dark moon, move it in. If you want to make your forehead look higher, so if your forehead's shorter, you can do the same thing. I do this all the time, but you're quite wide. So every face shape changes. So if you're quite wide, all you want to do is you don't want to shade anything in the middle. You just want to shade it in this way. A really simple thing, just get your fingers, look at your forehead and you go, how do I want to shape my forehead? Do I want more height, narrow? Do I want to bring it down this way? Roundness is always the key. Never want to create square shapes. And whatever shape that is, pop your head down and you go, that's how my shading is going to go from dark to light. If in doubt, pull it back. You're better off shading something too high than bringing something too low. So if you've got like your forehead, Trinny, bring it this way. If you want to make your forehead look longer, like if your face is shorter, you just want to shade in this part here. It's a really, really good tip. Put my glasses back on so you can see.
Rae, can you hear me?
Sound. Rae. Yes, Trinny?
I've got to say that's fucking miraculous.
I know.
Especially like the receding hairline, because I mean, because it is gel cream, it's not, there's no pigment, so it's not, there's no powder, but I never properly did it until now. And Serena, I'm only just using it since we brought it out today, but it's such a great shade for me. But just that thing of making it deeper here and then going lighter, and I just don't feel my forehead is dominating it anymore. It's like a revelation. Okay, put your sound up.
The best trick when I want to give someone a touch of sun, or it's not always bronzer here. When you shade the hairline, when your face tans, it actually tans the most here. Instantly, I look at your face and you look like you've been out in the sun. And can I tell you one more trick? Take that same product. You might not know this one. Take the same product. You've got to have a thin brush or a cotton bud and see your hair parts like that. You get it, and you just go slightly into that part. Oh, because you never want to see, like, if you've got a really white scalp, but just right in that front bit, thin brush, same product, just there. So you can't see where the shading has stopped. No one can see that you've cheated. There you go. Oh, how good's that? I know, right? Can I show you one more thing? Look how red. I'm sorry if you have joined me too. Like I've been out in like 41-degree heat wave. Oh no, wait. One more. Here's the one I'll bring it home with. Puffy, heavy eyes, right? I'm menopausal. I'm like a blown up balloon. We get these little babies. Think of this. Same product. Watch this little baby. Yeah. Corners of the nose. Hang in here with me, ladies and gentlemen. Nose, eye corners, and straight out. Just imagine that. I'm going to show you an actual picture because I think instructionals are really good. And I don't know why I closed my book because I had it perfectly open. Here we are. And we are, hang on.
Can I just say, somebody said, Rae, not cool for blonde or white hair. I think if you've got white hair, it's harder. But if you are toned and you have blonde, Kate is a much cooler shade. So I'm going to show you the difference between the two shades very quickly. One is, I just want to quickly do this just so people know, Rae. But so you know, Kate is like that. Can you see it quite grey? And that will work. Really that some of you might have bought Kate, and actually maybe Serena now would be better for you. But look at the difference. And then if I do Sophia, all named after, by the way, women in my life who have the best cheekbones. Like Serena is named after Serena Butte, who does all those coords I wear, Rae, but she has the highest cheekbones in the world. And Katie Brain is my bestest, oldest friend I've known since I was very small. So there's, and Sophia is Lila's. Like I have a very good friend called Cheryl, one of our foundation shades, and she was born on the same day as me, and her daughter, Sophia, was expected on the same day Lila was expected. That's Sophia, beautiful bone structure, and Kate and Serena. There.
I've just turned you down then. So
that's fine, I just they can hear me now. They can hear me. So okay, so now you're going to show us what's your final trick. You're going to show us how to be puffy eyes.
This is my little magic weapon for puffy eyes, hooded eyes. I want my eyes to lift. I'm really, really tired. I don't do too much eye makeup, but you know, I just want to whack something on. Okay, shading brush. So remember, like I said before, here's my picture. Here's my visual. I might send you a screenshot of this, Trinny, so it's a nice reference. Can you see this panel that we've got? These are all my shadings. We've already done the hairline. See how it's got like we've done there. Mm-hmm. We've done through that triangle that goes, or where am I? That triangle that goes to nothing. Mm-hmm. There's nose, but now we're going to come through this really important eye grid, which you can see, nostrils, we're going to shade this little baby.
Oh my God. Are you ready, ladies?
And an eye lift. Oh, wait. I'm sorry my light's so dark in here. I'm trying to...
Can I just say, Rae, if you've just joined us, ladies, we're doing the most incredible masterclass with Rae Morris, internationally renowned makeup artist, and she is teaching us the art of chiseling your face. We're not saying the word heavy contour because it is about just redefining your face without it looking like you've been hit by a truck with makeup. And I'm learning so much today. I'm learning about how to take away a receding hairline. We're just about to learn how to get rid of puffy eyes. If you've just joined us, this is on Facebook. And when we finish today, it will be on Facebook. And also we'll put it on YouTube later. So don't worry, you get to see it from the beginning. There's so many tips. It's
really fun. Okay, ready? All right, see, look at that color. To me, even I'm like, I thought, oh, gee, my cheeks look good. I forgot I actually put your product on. You see how it's like to nothing. And remember, if you just joined us, the key with contour is getting this perfect like shape into nothing. Okay, ready? Eyes. So nostrils, eyes, and out. I'm going to take the same product.
Yep.
And I'm just going to literally, I do this as a rehearsal. So I'm going to go nostrils, eyes, and I'm going to hit that little bit of brow bone.
So when you're putting the product on, you're just moving the brush there, but then you won't deposit any product till you get...
No, yeah. Sorry, I should have said that. Yeah. So just imagine the line. Let's get that. Where's my piece of paper? So there's that line, corner of the nose, corner of the eye, and up.
Okay.
Right? And you want to come right through there, but you don't want to hit the eye till you get to this bit that you hate with all that puffy bit. Now, I'm just going to make this, there's two tricks to this. If you're really hollow in the temples like I am a little bit, you really just want to hit that outer, see, I'm just hitting that puffy bit of my eye and just blending it lightly into the temple, but I'm not going heavily into the temple. And what this will do, you watch. Oh, watch this little magic, ladies and gentlemen. So when I go, oh, look how red my eyes are. When I go front on, you can see that the eye becomes more lifted, and you're not so, look at that. And what it does two things. One, it lifts your eye. Two, it gives a great foundation for eyeshadow. Because you know when you do a smoky eye, the hardest thing is, where do I go here on the eye? If
God,
you
it
do,
really has done it, Rae. So I'm putting it, darling, in that brow bone moment.
Higher, more on your brow. No, even more, like kind
even
of
higher.
Yeah, like you're going into the temple with it. You can go, yeah, you're doing exactly, you just need to go a little bit further. Bigger brush.
Can I go above my brow bone?
Yep, slightly. See how I'm going slightly softer with the brush, softer strokes. You need a bigger brush.
That's better. Over the brow bone.
Great. Now, if you've...
My God, I don't think but that...
Wait. I'm going to do one more thing. Wait. Just do it again. Do it even more. I'll show you what's going to happen. Do it more and just say you go, put on even if you put on too much. Because this is doing two things. It's going to not only go boom, I call it the eye lift. This is where the magic happens. If you want to be real smarty pants, pick up a flutter brush. I always say, always have your foundation always on standby, because when you're sculpting the face, having foundation, it's like an eraser, it's like an airbrush. Watch this. So I'm going to take the foundation that I used earlier, really important, line, nose, eye, and out, right?
Okay, so what am I doing now? I'm getting my foundation. Hold on. And then
I'm just using it as a rubber, just to make sure, because you might do this in a hurry and go, oh, I haven't got it right. And contouring, it's all, you've got to put it in the right spot. But if you're not sure, corner of the nose, corner of the eye, and out. You're basically taking off anything below that line. That's all you're doing. I'm just doing the foundation.
Can I ask,
see how it's sharp line?
Darling, when you say corner of the nose, should I be putting contour on the corner of my nose?
No.
So I'm putting the contour here, slightly above here, and then I'm cleaning it up, yeah? So I'm doing there. Yeah, done. Where am I cleaning up now?
So I'm going to show you, I'm going to do, so just say I've done like that. I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing, right? I've just put it on. And sometimes you've got to make sure it's in the perfect shape with your face. So let's say you just put it on there and you go, oh, because these lines have to be parallel. And it might be, you've done it beautifully. This is just like a safety precaution to make sure you have got this will make sure you've done it perfectly. So this is like the formula if you're not sure or you want to make sure it's perfect. I do it every time. Take foundation, okay, the lightest foundation that you use. I'm using the BFF here. And all I'm going to do, you know, I said corner of the nose and corner of the eye. Watch what I'm doing. I'm just coming underneath and just erasing, just taking out in case I accidentally put that color below that contour line. And see what it does. See how it gets like a definite lift. But it's like you're just making sure. Another easy way to think of it, imagine getting like a cotton tip or a Q-tip with some base and just going like, boom. I do that technique after I do all eye makeup just to make sure I've got the lift. Now have a look. Look at your eye. And guess what else it's done? It's made your cheekbone higher. Because when you shade it there, that pushes that in, which lifts that up. Boom, we're done. Look at that cheek.
That is, I've just got to turn up here. You turn, you turn your sound down, Rae. But can I say, Rae, that is the best trick I've learned in 10 years, because it's so odd to think about the concept of taking color and just having it there and above your brow bone. It's so subtle, but if I look at that side of my face, hang on, let me just do it, but that side of my face and just that lift compared to this side of my face and that down, it's such an incredible difference.
The only thing you do differently, if you're quite full in the face, if you're quite full, you can definitely take it all the way through that temple. The only reason you and I have got to be a little bit soft, because if we are hollow there, we don't want to make ourselves look more hollow. But what you're basically doing, you're shading and pushing down this puffy part of your eye. You're actually doing this to your face. How brilliant is that?
I have to do the other side now.
How good is it?
Rae, this is, can I just say, this has been incredible. You could go on for hours, all right?
Yeah.
Because every time that we're with you, we learn something new, and you have this ability to make it look natural and make it easy, because, you know, many of us didn't grow up with mums who taught us or sisters who taught us or YouTube shows. We grew up kind of fudging it, and then we get to a stage in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and we just think, oh, can an old dog learn new tricks? And today you've taught us so much, and I can't thank you enough. And just to let everybody know, today we've launched Cheekbones, which we have in 3 shades, and we had Kate and Sophia, but today we've launched their middle sister, Serena, which is going to be probably the shade that the majority of you might actually end up using. Some of you might have bought Kate and it might have seemed scary, but Kate is beautiful for cool tone blondes up to a peaches and cream, and then after that Serena. But it's just, you know, it's something, Rae, that I would do when I was going out for a special occasion. But I think what I've learned today from you the most, and what I'm going to take away from this, is that when I wake up and I feel my age, I can use contour to feel ageless. And that is such a fantastic thing that you've given us today. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on. I mean, Rae, I want to do this more often because
can we?
You know,
stuck at home. Let's do it.
You know, this detail, like people talk about masterclasses, but you are the master of masterclass.
Thank you.
The master of masterclass.
And I might even wear colour next time, Trinny. Look how hot it is here. My hair's turning into like a fuzzball. That's how hot it is.
God, darling. Well, I thank you so much, and we're sending you all our love. And we'll catch up soon, Rae.
Lots of love. And thank you for the comments, and I'll speak to you soon. Let's do part 2 and part 4 of 5 and 6.
All right, darling.